YouTube, what's up? Riz here with some more NFL draft coverage. And this video, I'm kind of going to go over my each position in the draft prospects and kind of give my sleepers, maybe guys I'm higher on than most. Kind of want to make sure I did this before the draft almost is here. But we're just going to go in order, starting with the quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, first one. I've been high on him since day one. He's my number 2 quarterback. I know I'm just a little higher maybe than other people because other people are starting to realize he's good. I've seen people with him as the number 2 quarterback as well lately. On to another one, Brad Kaya, quarterback from Miami. One point I thought was overrated, like during the end of the season, early in this process. Some people had him first round, and then I didn't think he was worth the first rounder. I didn't think he was first round talent at all. But I'm kind of have him right there with Davis Webb. Now, nobody really has that. They kind of have Davis Webb by a landslide there. But I think Kaya is a solid quarterback. I mean, he's raw, but he's a guy that I can see somebody working with and end up being really good. Accurate thrower. Kind of that game manager quarterback. Maybe like an Alex Smith, Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he's not going to wow as much as those two guys, but that style. So maybe a team with a really good defense that can't afford to take a quarterback earlier or want a quarterback in the future. Kaya could be that guy. I think he's got a lot of potential to be more than just a game manager as well. Looking at Gerard Evans, the Virginia Tech quarterback. Now, lately there's been a lot of talk. People kind of having him on the decline. Stock has fallen. I know Mayock said he won't get drafted. That's a little much for me because I had him graded as like a mid-rounder, maybe a 5th rounder. Another guy that's very raw, but he showed signs that he could be good. I think it's another guy you can work with, and he can be something. I don't think he was really in the right offense. I mean, he was a solid runner, but they didn't let him do what he can do. And a lot of perfect throws, a lot of great throws, great moments ended up being dropped by his receivers. I noticed that a lot as well. So Gerard Evans, I like. I don't know why he's starting to fall off here. Couple other guys that probably won't get drafted. Maybe this first guy does get drafted late. Zach Terrell from Western Michigan. Definite sleeper. Nick Mullins from Southern Miss. And Ryan Higgins, who has zero. Nobody's talking about Ryan Higgins. Louisiana Tech, a deep sleeper for me. The guy can throw the ball. But he's getting zero talk. He's probably not getting drafted. But those are just some sleepers. Running backs. Alvin Kamara is the obvious one for me. He's a top 20 player on my big board. He was starting to get. I liked this guy during the season. He was barely getting any snaps because he had another running back leading the way. He was the starter, who was Jalen Hurd, and Jalen Hurd quit. So Kamara got the full-time carries and was excellent. I thought should have got more carries. Didn't really agree with their offensive play calling. And it's not like he was a backup, and he really kind of just split too. But he wasn't just a backup to anybody. Hurd probably would have been a 2nd rounder. So I really like Kamara. Very similar to McCaffrey, that receiving style running back that really could do it all. But the difference between Kamara and McCaffrey's more of a downfield threat. That's his positive over Kamara, and Kamara's over McCaffrey's. I think he breaks more tackles playing in the SEC. I seen him break so many nice tackles that I can see him doing in the NFL. So I really like that about him, and he's a running back, so I think that's pretty important. Marlon Mack, a guy I liked all along. I said he was a 2nd rounder. He was kind of known as a mid-round guy. He's starting to get some attention now, maybe 2nd, 3rd rounder. I think he should be a 2nd rounder. There's really no weakness to his game. He can do it all. Solid player, good size, and very elusive, great moves. I really like everything about his game. Definite sleeper for the 2nd round. Kareem Hunt was a sleeper of mine. Not really a sleeper anymore. Jeremy McNichols from Boise State. Really like McNichols. Underrated receiver out of the backfield. Can do it very well. You can even split him out wide. Nobody's really talking about him. They're talking about all these receiving running backs. Nobody's talking about McNichols, a guy that led the nation in touchdowns for running backs as well. So he can run the ball very hard. So I really like McNichols in maybe the 3rd round. So he should be talked about more. Jamal Williams is that old school running back from BYU. Breaks a lot of tackles, so really like him. TJ Logan's a guy I have graded as a 4th rounder because his receiving ability out of the backfield, very fast, excellent returner as well. So he can be fill that new style of running back everybody's looking for. Aaron Jones from UTEP, hard runner, another solid receiving back out of the backfield. He kind of went from a late rounder to maybe 5th round. And there's tons of running backs here. Chris Carson from Oklahoma State, kind of on the rise for me, kind of a sleeper. Taquan Mizell from Virginia, another one there. Tareen Folston as a deep sleeper from Notre Dame. Watched him for a while, showed me some good things. Notre Dame's offense is kind of weird, just musical chairs with the running backs, so he didn't get as much action. So he is a deep sleeper for me. Maybe goes undrafted, maybe 7th round. Looking at receivers, I may be a little higher on Zay Jones than most. I have him graded as late first, early second. I think most people just have him second. Carlos Henderson, another one. I have him in the 2nd round. And he could go 3rd, I guess. An all-purpose guy, can really do it all. Antonio Brown-like. He's not Antonio Brown, but Antonio Brown-like. Poor man's Antonio Brown, maybe. Maybe a little Randall Cobb in there. Another guy, Malachi Dupre, not getting talked about enough. 2 years ago, I saw him. Really liked him then. Limited production this year because of that quarterback play at LSU, but a guy that can go up and grab the ball and worked out very well. Fast 40, faster than I thought. So really like him. Josh Malone is a big-time riser for me from Tennessee. Great route runner. That's like one of the first things you got to look for in a receiver these days too. And 6'3", big guy. So I really like Malone. Isaiah Ford has become a sleeper. Was known as a 2nd rounder. Kind of worked out poorly. So still a good football player. The receiver from Virginia Tech. Kenny Galladay from NIU has been a sleeper of mine for the receivers for a while now. Just that prototype wide receiver, really can do it all. He's kind of getting some buzz now. He's starting to be on the rise, so maybe 5th round, possibly 4th. Somebody's going to really like his style, but I expect 5. Ishmael Zamora, wide receiver from Baylor. Very similar to Mike Williams, my number 1 receiver in the draft. Very similar. Has some more drops and off-the-field issues. I have a question mark next to where he's going to go. Really unknown with off-the-field issues. He's definitely a good receiver, though. Rodney Adams from South Florida. Cordero Patterson-like, but probably can run better routes. They really used him for screen passes, jet sweeps, short routes, and he flies on the football field. But he can do more than that, I think. He can go downfield. That was just South Florida's style of offense. So those are some receivers, sleepers. I mean, there's some more, but those are the main ones. Tight ends. Bucky Hodges somehow became a sleeper, and nobody really has him in their top 5 tight ends all of a sudden. That's kind of one of the things that's mind-blowing to me. I had him at my number 3. At one point, I moved Evan Engram ahead of him. Bucky Hodges, my number 4 tight end. Expect him 2nd or 3rd round. These are definitely a red zone threat. Definitely athletic, very athletic for a tight end. Smart player, I believe. Needs to work on blocking, so I guess that's why he's dropped. Michael Roberts, great red zone threat. Guy gets touchdowns and a solid blocker, too, from Toledo. Really like him. And a deep sleeper, Jason Kroom from Tennessee. Very, very athletic tight end. Could possibly be a receiver, but if he's at tight end, he could be a mismatch problem if he goes to the right team. Offensive lineman, I really don't have any sleepers for offensive lineman. Kind of a poor class. Looking at a guy like Dorian Johnson, I've seen him 3rd round in some mock drafts. I think he could go 2nd, the guard from Pitt. A lot of these guys are like, are they a tackle? Are they a guard? Are they a center? Dorian Johnson's a guard. I think he could possibly start day 1 at guard. Danny Isidora, Miami offensive lineman, could play tackle or guard. I guess I expect him at guard. Nobody's really talking about him. Pretty solid. Isaac Asiata from Utah. He's definitely a guard. Plays very hard. I like that about him. So there's 3 guys maybe that I'm a little higher, but the offensive line, not really a big fan of scouting offensive linemen first off, and not really a fan of this offensive line class. Although the guard class is a little underrated, the tackle class kind of brings the guard class down, but it's not that bad. Looking at edge rushers, Tim Williams became a sleeper, but maybe that's because his off-the-field issues. An excellent player, excellent skill. I have him graded round 1, but I expect him round 2, maybe even drops further because our team's concerned with his drug testing maybe, but nothing recent that he failed. Looking at a guy like DeMarcus Walker from Florida State, top of the nation in sacks. The guy gets to the quarterback. Maybe not in the correct way, correct technique. Sometimes he came from interior D-line. Sometimes he came from outside. So I guess I understand why he's kind of considered. He's dropped to the 3rd round, it sounds like now. But I think he's a great 2nd round pick. Carl Lawson, another guy I've graded as the 2nd round. This is one of the guys where I really don't know where he's going to go. I've seen him late 1st. I've seen him early 4th, so I really don't know. could end up being sleeper. I guess it depends on where he goes. Kind of up in the air there. Not really a sleeper of mine, but a guy that I want to point out is Dwayne Smoot from Illinois. Well, we've seen him like earlier on in this process, late first round mocks, like all over the place. Every mock had him late first. Now he's not talked about really. So is he going to go second? Is he going to go third? I don't know. JoJo Mathis from Washington, another guy that can play outside linebacker, DN that I really like. Same thing with Carroll Phillips from Illinois, same style right there. Trey Hendrickson on the rise, Florida Atlantic edge rusher, and maybe a late round sleeper is Avery Moss, the former Nebraska defensive end. Maybe 6th round at the earliest for him. We'll see. Looking at linebackers, not too many sleeper linebackers of mine. At first I thought Ryan Anderson was overrated because I seen him in the first. I thought he was a lock at a second, but now there's some talk maybe he drops to the third. But I like his versatility. I think he can play D-end, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He really can do it all. So that's a good skill set. So I think he should be a second round lock, but could drop a little bit. Jalen Reeves-Maven from Tennessee. I remember watching this guy a couple years ago. I'm like, this guy's a future first rounder, maybe second round at the latest. Got hurt, maybe took a decline in his play recently. But I think when he's full go, which he's supposed to be right now, I think he's a special player. Also have a question mark next to his name. Where is he going to go? I kind of expect him 4th or 5th round, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, how he ends up. Jayon Brown, UCLA, production guy. It's not all about production, but this guy's all over the place. People kind of view him as maybe like a 6th rounder. I have him graded as a 4th rounder, actually, so I'm pretty high on Jayon Brown. Other guys, Blair Brown starting to get his buzz, his recognition that he needs. That's really it for the linebackers. Corners, DBs, there's a ton of them. Starting with Cordrea Tankersley, not really getting. He's pretty much sounds like he's a lock at 2nd. I guess he could go early 3rd. I don't think he would be a bad pick in the 1st round, to be honest. I think he's a solid corner. Could be a lockdown corner at the next level. Tends to use his hands a little much, so maybe that's why. Akello Witherspoon, Colorado corner. Guy that can go 2nd, maybe early 3rd. I don't think it'd be a bad pick late 1st. More comfortable early 2nd with him because not really too physical. Needs to work on his tackling, but 6'3" corner that led the nation in pass deflection, so he's solid. Howard Wilson, Houston corner. I have him graded as 3rd round. He might go early. I have him graded early 3rd round. Could go later than that. Probably will go later than that because he's skinny. His weight, his strength. Maybe that's what teams fear, but he is a great corner all over the place. Pass deflections, interceptions, everything. Does it all. Mechanics are great. Tresson Decoud, the corner from Oregon State. Big corner. I can see him being solid at the next level with the right team. Dwayne Thomas, LSU corner. Overshadowed by Tre'Davious White maybe. But all these LSU DBs end up being pretty solid. Brendan Langley, maybe not a sleeper of mine, but he's been getting a lot of buzz lately. The corner from Lamar, a lot of buzz. People said he could possibly go day 2. I think that's a little early, but that's a sleeper guy that's kind of turned into a non-sleeper guy. And on to guys I have listed as maybe I have a DB. I have a corner listing. I have a DB listing and a safety listing. DBs are really just nickel / corner / safety. They can do it all. Don't really know where to put them. Desmond King became a sleeper. Last year, people expected him in the draft. Did not come out, but they had mocks of him in the late 1st. And now he's not really getting talked about even in the 2nd that much. I think he could be a solid corner. I think he could be a solid safety. I think he could be a solid slot corner. Good player. 2 years ago, got a ton of picks, led the nation. And this last year, he was feared. So that's a great thing in my opinion. So he's a definite sleeper. Cam Sutton, the guy that can do all 3 positions as well. I have him graded as 3rd round. He could go 4. Sounds like he may go 4. Xavier Woods from Louisiana Tech starting to get his recognition that he deserves. Ashton Lampkin, is maybe a deep sleeper. Slot corner from Oklahoma State. Solid player. And then looking at safeties, big guy, big sleeper of mine, Marcus Williams. I have him graded as a 1st rounder. No weaknesses to his game. Very good center fielder, can make plays. I think he's a 1st round talent. I don't see him getting out of the second. I've seen some like full round mocks with him in like the third. I think that's mind blowing. Buda Baker was a sleeper for me at one point. He's kind of starting to get that talk as well. Tedrick Thompson starting to get that talk. I have him graded as a early third rounder, just a playmaker guy. Needs to work on some tackling a little bit. Josh Harvey-Clemens, the big safety slash linebacker from Louisville. He goes late because is he a safety or is he a linebacker? But is a late round guy. That's a guy that you love to work with. Looking at Fish Smithson from Kansas, playmaker guy all over the place. Although he makes a lot of tackles, the technique is off and he'll also miss some, so that's why he's more late round, but he's a playmaker guy all over the place. And David Jones, the Richmond safety, good length, good playmaker, maybe not a ton of experience or a ton of production, just maybe this last year of production, lack of multiple years, I should say. But David Jones, a good sleeper. I see a lot of teams been interviewing him lately, so maybe he goes earlier than the late rounds. So those are the sleepers I got, guys that I'm higher on than other people. There's more than that, but those are like the main ones. So I just wanted to talk about that leading up to this draft. More draft coverage videos coming your way. Stay tuned. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.